Since I was just talking about the Geist and our collective consciousness, I was going to also add something to that that might give you some peace as far as the evolution of the Geist and consciousness and humanity, the shaky state of affairs that we're in right now. As Hegel defined the Geist, the spirit of people and of the universe. It wasn't perfection. It was not static. It was always moving. So spirit and us and the universe is always becoming something. And each step brings us closer and closer to awareness. Now, the problem with awareness is that every decision, every step forward, every open doorway creates an opposite. It's the light that defines the shadow. It's the yes that defines the no. Every innovation we have, every idea that we have, it casts an opposite by default. Freedom creates control. Unity creates exclusion. Reason creates madness. In our world and in our consciousness, there are contrasts to everything. In humanity and our growth, we require these contrasts, and sometimes that contrast ends up bursting into catastrophe. And we've seen this before in history. When there's upheaval and war and cultures in chaos, that is the shadow side appearing. And I'm calling it the shadow side. He did not call it the shadow side. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow side, but as far as this conversation, we're just going to call it the shadow side is the opposite of the other part of consciousness. Hegel said that the spirit in our consciousness usually moves through 3 stages. The affirmation stage, or the thesis, where we're awakening, we're learning. So think like the Renaissance. It's our times of enlightenment. During these times of enlightenment, though, it is creating the opposite, which is kind of sitting under the surface. It's repressed. Is the antithesis, which is the negation. And that's when those shadow things that have been hidden under and created with this enlightenment start to surface. We've got the sublation or the synthesis, which is the 2 opposites then coming back together in unity, reconcile each other in a much more self-aware way, and that's the healing phase. We're not there yet. Say we are currently in the negative moment in the shadow side of human and world evolution. World people divide themselves into 2 different groups, 2 different camps. There's incredible binary thinking and fragmentation of ideas and concepts and people. It's a rough time to live in, but it ends in unity always. I think that I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, our lifetime. I hope it does. But I think at the end, what it's going to look like is more empathy, freedom that is attached to empathy. I think that consciousness is going to be much more connected with technology in some way. We're seeing that kind of happening now, but I don't think it's going to be as catastrophic as some of the predictions. There's going to be some integration in that respect. I also think that globally, because our consciousness has expanded and our world access has expanded, I think there's going to be a global coming together at some point. I don't know if I'm ever going to see this in my lifetime. We can hope. You can always rely on the past to tell us what is going to happen in the future. The world of humanity, the history of humanity tells us that we can absolutely rely on this pattern. We've got the late Middle Ages that moved into the Renaissance, the Reformation, the 100 Years' War, all those wars over religion that moved then into Enlightenment. The Industrial Revolution that moves into modern humanism. There's the World Wars that then move into the technological age. I think at the end of this, we're going to have a more cohesive global consciousness. And I think that we're just living and we're here to learn something. And the world is learning something. Individually, we are learning something, and the universe itself is in the process of becoming, and we are in the process of becoming and remembering, and we're going to be okay at the end. At the end, it's going to be okay.